Okay, so today we're doing rational exponents, which is exponents that involve fractions of some sort. So like the square roots, the cubic root, the quartic root, all of that fun stuff. So again, we know that a power is made up of two parts. Can someone tell me what those two parts are again, Rita? So a base and exponent. You broke your deal already. Hmm. So the exponent laws apply to powers with integer exponents, and they also apply with rational exponents. So for example, if you have something that is x to the power of 1 over n, you can write it as the nth root of something. So when we have 4 to the power of 1 over 2, that's the exact same thing as saying the square roots of 4, which is going to be what? 2. So for example, here we can also have, let's say, 8 to the power of 1 over 3. So that 3 is going to go outside of the root. So we're technically taking the cubic root of 8, which is also what number? 2. So the number n, so the denominator, always goes at the outside of the root. So like I said, 4 to the power of 1/2 is the same thing as taking the square roots. 8 to the power of 1/3 is the cubic root. To the power of 1 over 4 is the quartic root. Then you keep going and going and going.
Why are we moving the denominator over?
Because it's a law. That's why. It's just an exponent law. Yes, Brooklyn?
So where is like that 3 going? Where's the 2 going?
So this 3 is going outside of the root. So it's just another way of saying like, so 8 to the power of 1/3 is the same thing as saying the cubic root of 8. So all you're basically doing is with that fraction, you're taking the root of something, but the denominator tells you what type of root it is. So if your denominator is 2, you're taking the square root. If it's a 3, you're taking the cubic root. If it's a 4, you're taking the quartic root, and it keeps going and going and going. Because do 8 to the power of 1 over 3 on your calculator. And what does it give you?
I don't know.
Oh,
It's actually just
I think it has an equilibrium. Liv, is this yours? Olivia?
no, they're both mine.
Are you sure? Olivia. Olivia.
They're both mine. Okay, now we have something as x to the power of negative 1 over n. So remember, when we have a negative exponent, all you're doing is bringing it to the bottom. So for example, if I have, let's say, x to the power of negative 1 over 4, I can just write that as 1 over x to the power of positive 1 over 4. And then that becomes 1 over the quartic root of x. So a rational number is basically a fraction. That's why it's called rational exponents. You're dealing with fractions as your exponent.
Sorry, wait. So we moved the thingy over, and how did I input that into the calculator? Wait, how did you? What about this? Wait, why is it?
So you can either leave it like this,
Why is?
or you can leave it like that. Whatever you find less confusing, you can leave it as. So the way you do that on your calculator is you just say your number is 4. So you're just going to enter 4 and then press your exponent button and then enter your fraction 1 over 4 and it'll give you a value. So it's either yx or it's a little hat thing.
Okay, I think I follow. So, wait, what? Okay. Wait, I don't.
So if you have a calculator, so if we have, say, 1 over, let's say, 4 to the power of 1 over 2, on your calculator, you're just going to do 1 divided by 4, and then press your exponent button, and then enter the fraction 1 over 2, because that's your exponent, and it should give you an answer. So start with 1, press divided,
0.05.
shouldn't be 0.5.
I got 0.5.
0.5 should be the answer. And then after that, Rebecca, press 4 and then use your power button and then enter the fraction 1 over 2 and press equals.
I got 0.
0.5.
Oh, it simplifies it. Guys, I don't. It'll be 4.5. Okay. I know
0.5.
I don't get it.
It's either yx, Rebecca, or a little hat.
So when this piece is gonna do the same, like asking it before and then just leave it on there.
It's basically yesterday's lesson with a fraction as your exponent.
0.05.
I got it. Just get, from my calculator.
So you do
I can put 1.
So Emma, your calculator probably you have to put the fraction of 1 over 2.
1 over 2? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, you square root the denominator, so square root 4.
You guys are so mean to me. I got 0.4.
Okay, and then the next one is x to the power of m divided by n. So you're going to have a number that is in the numerator and a number that's in the denominator. So if you were to rewrite that out, your denominator goes on the outside of the root, and then the number inside of the root contains the number m. So for example, if I have 4 to the power of 5 over 2, so my 2 goes on the outside of the root, and then my base 4 goes on the inside with the power of 5 beside it. Pardon? So you would have to do it, so you can either do it as 4 to the power of 5 over 2, and that's going to give you an answer. So if you guys do 4 to the power of 5 over 2, what does that give you on your calculators? Yeah, and yes, Abby, it's 32. 4 to the power of 5 over 2.
I got 200,000.
Nope,
Wait.
32.
What part
32.
I got 2,000.
How?
I don't know.
I got 512.
Nope, it's 32.
How?
So what's what's 5 divided by 2?
I got 32.
2.5. So try 4 to the power of 2.5.
Oh, wait, what's the answer?
32.
I got 32. How did you get that? I got Aaron 1.
Yeah, that's what I did.
What do you want?
45.
No.
What did you do?
That's what I was doing. Is it me or is it my calculator?
No, the exponent is 5 over 2. So you have to put 4 to the power of 5 over 2. You can't do. What are you doing?
4 to the power of 2, 5.
No, it's 4 to the power of 5 over 2. You're dividing. So okay, so like I said, this might be a bit confusing to you guys. So if you guys let me talk, because I can just hear people in the front talking. So all you're doing on your calculator is you're taking your base first, okay? Pressing the base first, and then you're pressing your exponent button, and you're either keeping your exponent as a fraction, because some calculators allow you to do that, or convert your fraction into a decimal, okay? And then you're going to press equals, and it should give you 32. So for example 1, I have 25 to the power of 1/2. So if I want to change that into a root, all I'm going to do is take my root. My base is going to be on the inside, and the denominator is going to be on the outside. So this is basically telling me I need to find the square root of 25, which is 5.
I did it.
If the number was anything but 2,
Then you would have to use like the different So you'd have to use like either the cubic one, or there's a button on your calculator that has x and then the square root.
So all those like rules, you can use any of them to find an answer.
Wait, but can we just put equals 5, or
Guys,
do we
wait, I
have to
think
write
I
the other
understand
version?
this.
You have to write the other version first and then equals 5. Yes, Olivia?
So, okay, so if it's
That's the whole lesson, the other version.
if it's like a fraction with the 2 as the denominator, it's just regular
Square root.
square root.
Yeah.
How do you do, you know?
So the button on the calculator looks like this that has anything higher than 3 as a root. So there's a button that looks like this. So this is if button if root is higher than 3. So there's a button that looks like this. It says X and then the root part.
Wait, that one? There's a button like that?
So that's the button if your root is higher than 3. Can you guys find that button for me?
I can see it, but
I
I
know
don't
where it is.
Oh, wait.
So to use that button, so
function.
yeah, so say you have like your root is 5. You have to enter your number first. You have to press 5, second function, and then that button.
So 5 would be the
And
X.
the button. Oh, I got it.
You did it.
So enter
I don't remember how.
number
I
first,
remember. Why? No, I think the Y.
second function.
Second function, and then that Y button.
Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a quick example. Okay, so let's say we have 8 to the power of 1 over 6. Okay, what that's going to look like as a root is you're going to have your roots. Your 8's going to be on the inside, and that number at the beginning of the root is going to be 6. So what you're going to do is you're going to press 6 first, second function, locate that root button, and then enter the 8, which is in the root, and then press equals. And can you guys tell me what you got?
Okay. So we do.
Are you always gonna make us like put it into like that form before we do it?
So we do the second function after we put in
The 6.
yeah. 6. Second function.
1.41?
Yeah.
Mine's like, so like 5, second function.
Wait, I
Root,
got
and then press 8.
1.41.
You have to enter the base.
Oh no, I was doing the 25 one.
Oh, you're doing the 25 one?
Yeah.
So
It gives me 1.9 for some reason.
square root of 25?
Yeah.
Oh, well, let me try.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Calculator? like I said, I will always ask you to go from this to the root, but if you're trying to find your answer, you can use either one of them. Okay, you don't necessarily have to use the root, you can just use the exponent as a fraction. So as long as you change one from the other, I'm completely fine with that. Yep. So the next one, 65 to the power of 1 over 3, how do I write that as a root? Abby?
3 and then the root of 65.
Yep. Perfect. So again, when you're using your calculator to find the answer, you can do either 65 to the power of 1 over 3, or you can do the cubic root of 65. It will both give you the same answer. Up to you on which one you feel more comfortable doing. I'll tell you.
Is it 217? Wait.
No, it should be smaller than that.
4.06.
Yeah. So the next one, I have 32 to the power of 0.2. So as you can see here, this is not a fraction. So how would I change that into a fraction? Brooklyn? 1 over 5. Because if you do 1 divided by 5, it gives you 0.2. Or what you can do is start it easily, do 2 over 10, and then you can reduce that. Yes. Yeah, but I want you to change it from that into a root. That's why. So as Brooklyn said, this becomes 32 to the power of 1 over 5. And how would I change that into a root, Sarah? Yep. And that would be what? Is it 2?
Yeah, 2. Yeah.
Good job, Jade.
Wait, what do you do?
Okay, so let's look at the next one. We have 6 to the power of 8 over 4. Can I reduce that fraction? To what? Nope, you can reduce it further. Nope, what's 8 over 2? What's 8 over 4? What does that simplify to? It's the same thing as saying 8 divided by 4. 2. So remember, this simplifies into just 2 because 8 divided by 4 gives me 2. So I can write it as 6 to the power of 2, which we know to be what number? 36.
So you don't always have to go through all these steps.
If you can reduce your fraction right away, you can do that first.
You have it?
It would be easier for you. Because then you would just do the quartic root of 6 to the power of 8. And it'll just give you the same answer. So it's easier to write 6 to the power of 2.
No, let's do this throw. Oh. Just trying to figure out this. Yeah, this one.
Okay, next one. Okay, so now for the next one, we have 81 to the power of 0.25. How do I change that into a fraction? Rita. And Abby, how would I write that as a root? Yep. So what's 81 to the power of 0.25? 3.
We just said that before.
No, that's it?
No, I just said that.
I'll go.
Oh, no, next one.
I'll
Okay,
go.
so example 2, I have 27 to the power of 2 over 3. So how would I change that into a root? Abby.
3 and then the square root, power of 2.
Yep, so cubic root of 27 to the power of 2. What did we get for that? What's 27 to the power of 2 over 3? 9?
I got 9. I got 1.
Oh, then the
9.
Wait, so do you do 27 to the power of 2 first?
27 to the power of 2 over 3.
I don't know.
Her calculator does it weird.
Yeah, that's why. Don't I have to do the?
You have to, so what's 2 over 3 as a decimal?
Do 2 divided by 3.
Which is 0.66.
repeated.
Yeah, so do 27 to the power of 0.666 repeated.
Oops, 0.6.
No. I got
You
8.9.
just do 6.
It's 110.
Okay, and the next one we have negative 81 to the power of negative 2 over 3. So remember, I always have an imaginary 1 as my denominator. So how do I change a negative exponent into a positive? Flip it. So it becomes 1 over negative 81 to the power of 2 over 3. So how do I change that into a root? Yeah. So you're going to have 1 over 3, and then the root, negative 81 to the power of 2. So can someone tell me what my denominator is when you do negative 81 to the power of 2 over 3?
They don't have glasses at your house. I don't know. I think it's stolen.
Negative 18. Or negative 18.
I got 18.
I forget how to do negative on this.
You got 18.7?
18.7.
I got negative 18.
It should be positive.
Yes.
The 2 over 3.
Because remember, it's the same idea as yesterday. When you want to change a negative exponent, you have to take the reciprocal. So you have to flip the fraction so it becomes positive.
So even though I got a negative, should I go positive?
It should be positive.
Is that the right answer?
Yeah. 18.7?
18.7.
I got a negative 18.7.
But it says negative
Negative
18.7.
Yeah.
Mr. Garcia.
Okay.
It says
It should be
negative.
positive.
Should say 18.7.
Negative.
Yeah, I'm getting a negative 18.
What do you do?
Oh, it's
I
not.
did so because I have to divide. So I did negative 2 divided. Do I just keep doing? No, I think you should do it that way. That's why I did it. Listen, I have a question.
I keep on getting negative. Oh, yeah.
Yes,
So
Jade.
you have to do the
For the fraction.
Pardon?
You can't do like negative 8.
No, because they're going to give you an error. That's why. So you have to do it. You have to do with the root.
A long way.
For the fraction, is the 2 and the 2 both negative?
No, they're going to be positive when you move it down.
No, but like, because even though I have to divide it first, do I do negative 2 divided by 3 or negative 2
No,
divided
both
by
are
3?
positive.
Because you change it over there. Oh, then that's why I got it. Then why is it negative?
I keep getting a
Because you're
negative.
switching it.
Well, you're.
So try doing it the other way. The cubic root of negative 81 to the power of 2.
No.
Return the 2. Like come from the over 3 fraction.
Yep. And any negative number squared is positive.
So like say it was like Would you still move it?
Yep. Okay, so the next one we have is 8 to the power of 3 over 4 to the power of 9. So this 9 should be up here. So if we have a power to a power, what do we do with these exponents? Multiply. So what's 3 over 4 times 9? And how do I write that as a root? Yep. Yep. That's it. You will, if I say evaluate, you have to solve it.
What's the test?
We just started the unit.
But the quiz.
I gotta know like what's like times 6.
Yes, Rita?
How come we're like squaring the numbers with
This is
the
second lesson.
negative 27 and like number of, and we didn't like do it before? How come we're doing
What do you mean? Oh, because the numerators of every single one of them before that was a 1.
Oh, so if it's not a 1, you would need to square it.
Yeah, square whatever that number is in the
Oh.
numerator. So that gave me 1 million, I think.
Yeah.
So you gotta remember a lot. I can't even remember what it is.
Oh my God, I don't know how to guys.
Oh, I didn't have breakfast again. I had to pay eating.
What's the answer? I got. What do we have the same brain? I can't. That's
Good,
my
good content.
Sorry.
Good content. I
Yeah, I
hope.
got the animal people.
We have the same brain.
Oh, or mama. I think they're in my Bible class.
1, 2, 4, 6, 9, 7, 8.
What's the last one? No, I don't think
They can hear. Now they know what.
All right, so now we have annoying questions. Great. Ooh.
Sir, I don't.
Do you have food?
Of course.
Can I have them?
Yeah, the first lesson is this one. This one's the only like remotely annoying one.
Lisa, your birthday.
A video?
All right, so we're gonna start with our numerator first. So we have 8 to the power of 1 over 6 to the power of 7. So this is a power to a power. So what are we gonna do with the exponents? Okay, what's 1 over 6 times 7? Yep. So 8 to the power of 7 over 6. And then in my denominator, I'm multiplying exponents with the same base. So what do I need to do with my exponents? Olivia? You add them. So 8 to the power of 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3. Can someone tell me what 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3 gives us? So let's go back to our grade 9 skills. What's my common denominator going to be? 6. So I multiply the first one by 3 and multiply the second one by 2. So I get 3 over 6 plus 2 over 6, which gives me what? 5 over 6. Common denominator, Shade.
My mom's gonna hear that shit. What are you doing?
So now the last step is we're dividing exponents with the same base. So what do I do with the exponents? Subtract. So 8 to the power of 7 over 6 minus 5 over 6, which gives me what? What's 7 over 6 minus 5 over 6? 2 over? No. 2 over 6. Nope. You only subtract the numerators. So am I able to simplify 2 over 6? To what? Perfect. And how do I write that as a root?
I got a 19.
Cubic root of 8, yep.
Why do I have a 97?
Which gives me what? 2.
So long.
Oh, he has friends.
So we have 16 to the power of 3 over 2 plus 16 to the power of negative 1 over 2 plus 4096 to the power of 1 over 4 minus 27 to the power of 2 over 3. Okay, so all we're literally going to do is we're just going to simplify this. All right. So I can write this as the square root of 16 to the power of 3. How do I change this negative exponent to a positive? What do I have to do? So I get 1 over 16 to the power of 1 over 2 plus the quartic root of 4096 minus the cubic root of 3 of 27 to the power of 2. Yes?
Why is it 1 over 16?
Because my exponent's negative. So remember, the imaginary denominator in a whole number is 1. So that's why you flip it.
I thought this was supposed
So 16 to the power of 1/2 is just the square root of 16 plus the cubic root of, or the quartic root of 4096 minus the cubic root of 27 to the power of 2. Can someone give me the value for the first one? What is 16 to the power of 3 over 2? What would that give me?
64.
64? What's the square root of 16? 4. So I'm going to get 64 plus 1 over 4. What's the quartic root of 4096? So we're doing this one next. Pardon? 8? Is it 8?
Yeah.
Mr. Garcia.
Yep.
For the 1 over 4, could you just press 0.25?
No, but you want to work with fractions. Okay, so plus 8. And what does the last one give me? The cubic root of 27 to the power of 2. Minus 9. Okay. So we're going to leave the fraction until the end. So I'm going to have 64 plus 8 minus 9 plus 1 over 4. So when you add and subtract these three numbers together, what do you get? 64 plus 8 minus 9. What is that?
64.
63. So then what's my common denominator going to be? Because remember 63 has 1 as the denominator and we have 4. So what's the lowest common denominator? 4. Which means I have to multiply this guy by 4. 63 times 4 gives me 252. So what's my final answer? (253/4). Okay. So obviously I'm probably gonna have to take up the homework for tomorrow. So that's what we'll spend the class doing tomorrow, is taking up the homework for this lesson. It's not that it's confusing, it's just I know you guys don't like working with fractions. That's mainly it.